We've got about an hour. Today is Monday, August 11th. We've got about an hour until potentially the world changes forever. Now, it's suspected that Trump is going to announce today at 10 their plans to combat crime in D.C. Now, we all know that there is some crime in D.C., but the majority of it happens on Pennsylvania Avenue, as well as in the Capitol and the surrounding offices. The street crime, it's not really that out of control outside of any other city of a similar size. They're using this because this is where they are. They're using this as a way to push their little smart city thing and pretend that it's all in the guise of protecting Americans. And we all know that that's false. None of this is about law. Everything our government's done for like the last 20 years is illegal. It's never been about law and order. If it were about law and order, we wouldn't support Israel, because international law says bad people, rightfully so. So you might be thinking, well, I'm not in D.C. Okay. Are you in L.A.? Are you in Portland? Because the music festivals there are popping off the fucking chain. I mean, some of the artists are making people disappear forever. So you might not be in any of those places today, but those places are coming for you tomorrow. So you might be sitting somewhere thinking, I ain't got to worry about this. And that's the same thing you were thinking in 2020, when the choices we had were Joe Biden and Donald Trump. See, people think that this is all coming to a head now. This came to a head a long time ago. When people refused to hold Joe Biden accountable, that's what paved this road to hell. That's when they saw what they could get away with. And what was it they could get away with? A genocide. Yeah, which is the ultimate crime. So if no one's going to say anything about the ultimate crime, what the fuck are you going to do about this? That's their mindset. That was the trial run. Israel is always using Palestine as the trial run for their weapons, their surveillance tech. And we also use Palestine as a moral compass. If you're not anti-genocide, you can just get the fuck out of my planet, straight up. So in the next hour, when this conference happens, if it is discussed that, they're cracking down and rounding up homeless people, if the first thing you think is, well, I'm not in D.C., again, you're going to be in D.C. really fucking soon. It's just not going to be called D.C., which it might not be called D.C. anymore there either, but it's going to be called whatever city you live in. And if you don't understand by now that A, Zionism, capitalism, control all the other isms, if you haven't figured that out yet, you probably are still thinking that what happens in D.C. is different than what happens in another part of the country. You couldn't be further from the truth. We all know that when something is a federal takeover, that means all 50. So if you're not ready to go, you're ready to go. Like, be gone. If you don't understand the moment we're in, if you think, well, we just got to get to the midterms, no, you're brain dead if you're thinking that shit. Literally, what's happening in this country right now is the reason I decided in 2000 that I was never going to have children. So I was listening to my Dead Kennedys records, and I was listening to my Propaganda records, and I was learning that shit's not going to be very great because these powers are not good. And those punk rockers were right. And everyone else is still trying to have some kind of like normalcy in their lives and still trying to talk about, what they're going to go out and do on a Friday night. Like, guys, that shit is fucking over. Like, I just don't think people are clearly coming to terms with how over it is. We have a hostile takeover of our government from a foreign entity, which is a combined entity, because the United States is a foreign entity. It doesn't belong on Turtle Island either. So the Israeli-U.S. government is just pushing this genocide, and now they're pushing it to the disabled. They're pushing it to the homeless, which has always been the case, but now they're doing it again. And we actually had gotten some ground in the last 20 years as far as mental health and whatnot. And it's all going backwards bigly right now. Everything, every stride, everything that was ever taken is being erased. And when your system can do that, when one person, one regime can change that much, then whatever the house of cards was built on wasn't worth its weight in the first place, right? So we all agree we're not going back to that. But we also all agree that rounding up homeless people, not something we're going to tolerate. So you reading this, watching this, whatever the fuck, you need to make a decision today what you're going to do when it's time for things to be done. And if you're going to sit here and talk about midterms, well, you might as well put some fucking lipstick on and get ready to kiss your own ass goodbye. Because that's all you're doing if you are thinking that either one of these parties is going to save you from this. Fascism is the merging of corporate and military power. We've been a fascist country for a lot longer than most of you even knew the word. So this isn't anything new. This is the mask off. This is them saying we've been here. Now we're here. What are you going to do about it? So what the fuck are we going to do about it?